Okay, so thank you for your patience. We'll go ahead and get started. Gonna go through the introduce the presenters. Like I said, we've got a little bit of housekeeping, and then we'll get right into the discussion. Please submit any questions via chat. If I don't have the opportunity to address them or ask the panel during the chat, we can definitely follow up. But greatly appreciate your time today. I know that we're all kind of fatigued from these various webinars, and so definitely appreciate you spending the time with us, and we're really hoping to provide some value and some context around SD-WAN. So in no particular order, just the order that I had them written down in. We have 5 different presenters today. We're hoping to give you a good view of the SD-WAN space and some of the key technology players in that space. We have Hadi Najatian from VMware representing VeloCloud. Hadi, if you want to just take a quick 30 seconds and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hadi Najatian. I'm Partner Solution Architect at VMware. I support national partners in Canada, and CDW is one of those national partners.
Thank you, Hadi. And then we have Ryan Williams from Palo Alto representing CloudGenix. Ryan, if you could introduce yourself real quick.
Certainly. So thank you, everyone, for taking the time. My name is Ryan Williams. I'm a recent and proud member of the Palo Alto Networks family from the CloudGenix acquisition. And in my role at CloudGenix, I served as Senior Director of North American Channel Sales, including resellers and great partners like CDW. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Ryan. And then Jennifer Chahosky from Viptela, or Cisco Viptela.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jen Chahosky. I am from Cisco, and I'm really excited to be here with you today. I have responsibility for all of sales of the Viptela and Meraki now SD-WAN solution for the Americas, obviously, including Canada, the US, Latin America, for all channels, all customers. Again, thanks a lot for having me, KJ. Looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining us. And then Jason Andrews with Fortinet.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining, and thank you, KJ and the CDW team, for hosting this. My name is Jason Andrews. I'm a pre-sales engineer. I support CDW at the national level on all Fortinet solutions.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. And then Sean Sanderson from Silver Peak.
Good morning, everybody. Sean Sanderson, Managing Director for Silver Peak in Canada. I'm based in the lovely city of Calgary, but responsible for the national business, and look forward to the discussion this morning.
Great, thanks, Sean. Okay, so just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. The first is that the best experience most likely to view this is going to be in the grid view. And so if you're changing your view settings within WebEx, that will allow you to see all of the presenters generally at any given time. The lunch vouchers will be sent out after the event. So the marketing team wants me to make sure that you are aware we are not going to leave you hanging without lunch. And then the winner of the draw for the prize will be notified via email after the fact. So not everybody will win, obviously. I apologize if you don't win, but I'm hoping individually for each and every one of you that you win. Okay, and then so really quick, the SD-WAN space is something that obviously there's been some hype around it. There's going to be varying levels of understanding for everybody on the call. We've tried to assemble I think we have assembled a good technical team, a good team that can talk about some of the business value that our customers are going to see with SD-WAN over the next couple of years. But really, the SD-WAN space is changing the way that you're going to manage your WAN. It's changing the way that you're fundamentally designing and helping increase the agility that you have in promoting services across your wide area network. And so, what we are seeing is it's a replacement for MPLS. It's helping eliminate some of the vendor lock-in and the provider lock-in, and then leveraging things like seamlessly integrating cellular service for alternative routing. And so it's definitely it's past the early adoption phase. We're seeing our customers start to take advantage of these services. We're seeing that the 5 different technology providers that we have on the call today are all having some success in this space, and we want to help arm you with some of the information that you need in order to align with the proper technology and then help sell that within the business. So it is one of the few spaces that I'm seeing where you have this combination of a reduction in cost and providing better service and support for the business. So it really is one of those unicorns in the space where there's a lot of value here. So I don't want to belabor that too much. I just wanted to give you an idea that we're past the hype cycle. We do have customers that are doing this. We're happy to engage. All of the partners on the call here are happy to engage, and they all have good solutions in this space to help you get value and drive agility for your businesses. So with that, we'll just kind of get into it. Again, as you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. So we're going to start with Hadi. When you look at your ideal customer, for VeloCloud, what is that ideal customer? And then if you could sort of describe yourself to the people on the call.
Yeah, absolutely. For us, first off, it's very important to know that SD-WAN in general is beneficial to all types of customers. And from VMware perspective, that customer could be a customer that has a single site or multiple site in multiple location spread globally or in a specific region. And for us, it's all around the business problem. Any customer that has a business problem around application performance and applications that are leveraging the wide area network, but now they see problems in an experience of using those applications, or they basically see wide area network as a bottleneck for them to move toward a digital transformation. These are type of the customer that we see are relevant to have an SD-WAN. And then, to your points that you mentioned, like those who want to have a strong cloud footprint, or they're looking into adopting a cloud model. And the SD-WAN again helps them a lot to make that cloud initiative successful, because if the users are not using that cloudified application, that cloud initiative will be a failure, no matter how much investment that organization has invested into that new cloud initiative. Because you'll see that there are users, or there are customers that they invested a lot in a unified communication as a service solution, or some sort of let's say Office 365, but the users did not have a good experience of using those applications. They simply switched to a substitute. Instead of using that voice over IP solution, they switched to a cell phone. Instead of using that Office 365 application, they moved to a locally installed software, which is not secure, which is not optimized. And again, different security models they want to adopt in their branches. Therefore, SD-WAN in general gives you, as a customer, all these type of flexibilities to adopt all these type of different models.
Okay, so you're saying that really it's a customer with a fair amount of complexity on that cloud journey. Okay, no, that's great. So let's move to Ryan Williams with CloudGenix. So Ryan, if you could sort of talk about who's your ideal customer, what's the state of that customer, and then so who's your dance partner you're looking for?
Sure, dance partner. I love that term. So first and foremost, I think that answer changes a little for all of us, right? In the last, let's call it 3.5 months. I think organizations in general are starting to fit the profile for your typical SD-WAN customer more than they might have in the past, right? In other words, they're becoming more distributed than they ever have been before. I think I saw a recent Gartner survey where they surveyed a bunch of CFOs and talked about that 75% of the CFOs stated that at least some significant percentage of their workforce will remain remote forever. We've offered up, as I think many of you and your organizations have on this call, we've offered up the ability for flex work for our employees forever. It's been announced publicly that that's something that we're going to do. So I think, in general, things are changing and becoming more distributed than ever before, right? So the two, and I agree, Hadi, with everything that you said. I think you were right on track. I would say that the two paradigm shifts that drove the market in the first place are continuing to accelerate. So in our mind, from a CloudGenix and Palo Alto Networks perspective, that's bandwidth is becoming more and more commoditized, and applications live in different places than they ever have before. They're being served in a number of different ways and being consumed from everywhere. right? So I think that journey, when customers are going through that journey, again, it's becoming pretty much every customer, to Hadi's point earlier, we're starting to see more and more relevance for SD-WAN. Now, we have traditionally had our success in the mid-market and the enterprise, right? So we sell up market. One of the reasons there is that those customers are typically more distributed, right? They're larger in size, they have more locations, and in any value proposition that applies at 3 sites applies even more at 3,000, like agility in the framework to go deploy, or the ability to make a complex set of applications feel very simple and route very simple. So mid-market enterprise customer, highly distributed, very technically complex, going through a digital transformation. And then the last thing I'll close with, as I know I'm taking a little bit more time here than I anticipated, we're seeing that shift now even more into security, right? Hence the Palo Alto Networks acquisition of CloudGenix, the SASE movement that's taking place, the convergence of the edge, right? We're seeing as those workforces become more and more distributed, that the customer security perimeter has just exploded. They're looking for a way to solve that problem. And I think that all of us have a story around that. And I think that's certainly something that we're going to discuss more today. So I'll stop there, KJ, rather than go down the SASE rabbit hole for you.
That's okay. If you take an additional minute, then I just have to give everybody 2 minutes. So it's no. So definitely, yeah. I think you come through clear. It's mid-market, it's enterprise, it's distributed, and you're right. There, especially with the work from home, security is definitely more on people's minds. Okay, great. So Jason Andrews with Fortinet, if you could, talk about your ideal customers, where you're seeing, some momentum in the market.
No, for sure. And Hadi and Ryan, touched on a lot of important points, right? When it comes to Fortinet, what we're seeing with our customers, we have the customers that are, from a size perspective, it really doesn't matter, because it could be a single site, multiple WAN links, it could be multiple sites, it could be a carrier, right? It could be very large, distributed with hundreds of sites, or it could be physical, meaning perimeter, and virtual, meaning private or public cloud. Basically, our solution fits in all those markets. But what we're seeing from a customer standpoint is they're facing 2 challenges. It's either we need to have more uptime, right? So they need to have multiple links. They want to make sure they have uptime for those applications. They might not have MPLS, but they might have multiple WAN links. They want an LTE device to move that traffic over, because they need to have that uptime. So that's one scenario, which could be, once again, on-prem or cloud. The other scenario is the MPLS kind of scenario, right? So the cost perspective. So we're trying to reduce the cost, but we need to maintain SLAs. And it's not always necessary getting rid of the MPLS. They might be reducing the bandwidth of the MPLS just for a specific application versus all the critical applications they had on there. But that's what we're really seeing. And the thing that that the customers are always conscious of and should be conscious of is, with the security portion of it, right? That's what we get asked a lot about, because, Ryan mentioned, like, you have this digital transformation, you have this infrastructure that is borderless at the end of the day, and you have to secure that infrastructure. You need to have the visibility around that infrastructure. And how do you automate should something happen and breach your environment? And when I say should, most likely, and that's the thing, right? It's not about if, it's more when. Breaches do happen. It's something that's inevitable, right? But how do you reduce the amount of time, stop that from propagating? So we look at that whole landscape, and then those are the customers, and that's the kind of conversations we're having with them.
And it's definitely an interesting space where, again, you have VMware, which isn't necessarily known as a networking company, but they do a lot of networking now. The SD-WAN space with Palo Alto and with Fortinet, primarily sort of the security focus, and then also coming into this technology arena, right? So you definitely bring up a good point there, Jason. I think the security focus in the security space and having some security vendors in this space is very interesting, right? So, okay, so Jennifer, if you could talk a little bit about Cisco and Viptela and the story there. Who's your ideal customer you're looking for?
Sure, KJ. I'll take a step back for a second and talk about, it's not just about Viptela, and that's one of the good things about Cisco is that the way that we are approaching the SD-WAN market and the overall macro trend of multi-cloud and the convergence of the distributed workforce. I think Ryan mentioned, half of the workforce is expected not to return to the workplace in the near future. So how do we respond to that? And it's really about addressing the multi-cloud use cases. It's enabling that because that really is digital transformation. That adoption of the hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, that is digital transformation these days. And then we have the other trend of SASE, again, like Ryan said, and that convergence of a comprehensive WAN capability plus comprehensive cloud-based security is really getting companies out there to rethink from end to end. How can they enable digital transformation? How can they accelerate and secure their move to the hybrid cloud? How can they also take advantage of an end-to-end network? So Cisco, being a legacy routing company, we've been in routing since our beginnings and 35 years ago, and so we have that legacy robust routing capability portfolio in our iOS. How do we layer on top of that advanced security solutions? Well, we've been doing that for the last several years. We have 20,000 customers running our cloud-based security CASB solution today. We have 22,000 customers running Cisco SD-WAN in some form today. So we've been working on this integration into the SASE model before Gartner named it SASE, because what we found is that there's a huge amount of value in that convergence. And now we're seeing that there's a huge amount of value that our customers are responding to about the end-to-end integration from their data center core, their LAN, their WAN, out to the cloud. And that's really the value of Cisco, because we cover all those domains. We have visibility into the network, and now with the acquisition of ThousandEye, we have an increased ability to see at the packet level what's going on in the network, even in the service provider piece of the network. So what we're seeing is because we can offer so many we offer the ability to address pretty much any use case this day while also saving money and providing that all-important ROI. It's really any customer that needs more than one VPN to a location to the biggest, most globally, present companies with thousands of sites worldwide with the most complex network requirements. It's really a soup to nuts approach that Cisco's taken at this point.
Okay. And then, so Sean Sanderson with Silver Peak. Again, so who is your target customer? I know Silver Peak has a bit of a different value proposition here. So really kind of what is that, and who is that customer that you're really resonating with?
Yeah, so Silver Peak, our focus is the SD-WAN space. We've built our organization around the WAN. We've got more than 14 years of experience going from the WAN optimization, exclusive space, all the way into SD-WAN, including those capabilities. So we're really looking at customers, that are enterprises that are both nationally and globally dispersed, that are looking to drive application performance, simplification of their network and management, and looking for performance over that footprint with the ability to have the flexibility to add things like WAN optimization, connecting to the various types of cloud as they migrate and make changes to how they consume their applications. And so we've really focused around being one of the best of breed solutions, working with best of breed partners, and giving the customers the ultimate flexibility to make those decisions. Really, I think everything that's been said about SD-WAN is true. When we look at the type of customers and why they're making the moves, we kind of take it from a step of understanding that the customer's focus is around being business driven, right? So we're not trying to push technology onto them that they have to then consume and change the way that they run their business, driving highest quality of experience around capabilities. Being adaptive to the business and also to the product that is being offered, and then trying to simplify it under a common unified platform. And so when we look at the types of customers, they're really trying to drive cost out of the business, improve performance and capabilities, and simplify how they do things. And I think if you can't really size a customer based on that, because that's every customer, as far as what they're looking to achieve. But I do believe that SD-WAN does drive more benefit for different types of customers. And again, I think it was been mentioned a few times here, is that customers that are dispersed, that are trying to transform their businesses, that are complex in nature, the more complexity seems to be the more benefit that SD-WAN provides for the simplification side of things.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sean. Okay, so just as a quick note, we're about 22 minutes into it. We're going to have to shorten the answers just a little bit, but I think we'll focus in on it. I do want to make sure we have time at the end so everybody can have a couple of minutes to speak directly to the customers that are on the line here. So very quickly, when we'll stay with you, Sean. When you look at the value add and the business strategy that you're helping your customers, drive forward, what is the business driver that Silver Peak really focuses on? Is that agility? Is that simplicity? Is that cost savings? Is it innovation of features? Is it an operational effort? What is that the primary one? Obviously, there's more than one, but what's the primary?
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's going to say the same thing, and they're going to say all of them.
Exactly.
I'm just going to highlight that, customers multiplier on cloud investments, managing continuous change. The fact that we're a dedicated specialist means we're dedicated to innovation around SD-WAN, and really providing customers freedom of choice, right? So that there's a lot of flexibility. We've done a significant integration with, next-gen cloud security providers. With the cloud partners, we make ourselves available in the clouds or the clouds, various cloud stores. Tons of stuff with Azure in their virtual WAN. So really all of these, and I think it comes down to the fact that Silver Peak is focused around just the SD-WAN and making it as flexible as possible for customers to work. So when agility, simplicity, cost savings, innovation, and features, all of those are, I would say, table stakes in being a leader in SD-WAN.
You said all of them. It's okay. It's okay. It's tough, and you're right. There is a lot of value that each of these technologies brings. So Jennifer, again, I know it's difficult, but if you focus in on, what is the TCO? What's the value that Cisco's focusing on with their solutions?
Sure. So one of the, if not the biggest area that Cisco is focusing on is integration into multi-clouds. So, between the integration that we have with Azure and their virtual WAN, AWS Transit Gateway Network Manager, and we just announced a new partnership with Google Cloud Platform to provide an actual service level agreement setting so we can integrate into Google Cloud Platform where so many companies have their workloads today, and actually provide an SLA on that application performance without having to use MPLS. And also, create and enforce security policy end-to-end in the network. It's really about helping to drive customers' digital transformation through utilization of the public cloud, ensuring performance, application performance, so ensuring that users actually have the correct experience with the applications no matter where they're housed. And this is a big part of Cisco's strategy, is that really tight integration into the cloud networks, either through colos or directly with those cloud partnerships that we have. And of course, the security element that I talked about, end-to-end from the core of the network all the way out to the IoT or the device edge, where the edge of the network is, securing that data, because we live in a world where there are fewer and fewer data centers. So there are fewer data centers, but there are many, many, many thousands centers of data. And you have to secure that data no matter where it is. So that's our approach to it, is really driving that visibility into the performance of the applications, securing those applications, and providing an excellent experience for users.
Okay, great. No, that's perfect. And then Jason, from the Fortinet perspective, again, where are you aligning with business strategy? How are you, helping businesses achieve their goals?
It's one of those things, right? Yeah, there's innovation and everything behind it. Fortinet supported from all public cloud and physical on-prem, and the innovation's there. I would say, based on what if I was just to take something from like what our third parties, like some third-party analysts, lowest total cost ownership when it comes to protected megabits, right? So we have, because our solution's actually built into our firewall and there's no cost behind it, our customers experience get the total cost of ownership, the lower total cost of ownership, and it benefits them, right? So yes, there's the agility and everything else that falls behind, but I'd say what I'm seeing is the value from the immediate value customers are getting outside of the solution itself is the total cost of ownership.
Perfect. And then, so Ryan, with CloudGenix and Palo Alto, again, where are you helping drive that business strategy forward?
So I'll take a little bit of different approach here. So our answer is time to innocence. So everyone on this call, the network team is always blamed. If there's an issue with Office 365 or Salesforce, I don't care who your SaaS provider is, when you call them, the network is always blamed. If there's an issue with your ISP, the network team is always blamed. So our goal is to provide time to innocence to IT, right? So the way we do that is we're the industry's first and only application-defined fabric. We understand applications at a very granular level. We produce really rich analytics data in real time and make proactive routing decisions against that data. And we do so to provide innocence to IT. Quick example of that, we have a Southeastern US customer, 2,200 store retail branch locations. We were able to, post CloudGenix, we're able to reduce that customer's trouble tickets on average from over 1,000 network related trouble tickets per month to sub 100. There's a 90% network trouble ticket reduction. To me, time to innocence is the biggest value we provide.
That's funny. I just real quick aside, I was a VMware administrator early in my career, and I was so good at proving it was network problems that they made me a network administrator to. so yeah, no, you're right. The network does take that, and
always gets pointed.
Yeah. So Hadi, from a VMware perspective, again, the business strategy aligning with your customers to help drive that business strategy forward. Where is VeloCloud helping move that forward?
So I think I'm going to be the only one, just pick one. But so from my perspective, it's definitely due to current circumstances is agility, right? Having the capacity to change as fast as you can. Look at, COVID outbreak, the impact it had in all these type of industries, a specific, an immediate impact on education and healthcare. And then, those distributed workforce that had to, to just go and work from home. So as our CEO says, sometimes it takes a decade to make a week of progress, but sometimes a week gives you a decade of progress. And that's what really happened in past month. You see that organizations had to change quickly, and having a solution like SD-WAN, because everything is software based, gives you the agility to, to absorb that change, to make that change happen as quick as you can. Like in terms of the healthcare, we had multiple customers in the healthcare industry that they want to have these pop-up clinics set up as soon as they can, or pop-up test centers, and they want to provide a reliable connectivity for all of those doctors, caregivers, to to all those electronic medical records. So therefore, they need to provide a reliable communication, a secure and privacy for both users and the data at the same time. Same thing for those distributed workforce. Imagine a customer that wants to send 5,000 employees to work from home in a period of week. So therefore, they need to have that agility and flexibility, and having a reliable way to access those applications, those data, is very critical. And that's, I think, something Ryan mentioned, and Jen also pointed out around business continuity. Sometimes customers ignore the fact that business continuity is not just protecting the application inside the data centers with having a kind of a disaster recovery solution. You can invest a lot on those type of multi-cloud or disaster recovery, but if you do not have a secure way and reliable way to access those applications, your business continuity strategy would fail. So therefore, I would definitely go for agility in this type of current circumstances.
Yeah, it's a good point. And one of the concepts that I've been talking about a little bit is all of those home users right now, all those our customers, that everybody on the call, you have people working from home. They're also home consumers now. And so they're going to want to be home consumers of healthcare services and government services. And IDC has some really interesting reports out there. So everybody on the call, definitely recommend checking that out, because you bring up a great point, Hadi, and that is the landscape has shifted, and again, they're not just home users; they're also home consumers and customers of other people. So that's a good point. Okay, so Jason, when we look at cloud integration and what Fortinet has to offer around the cloud, specifically, again, let's try to keep this short. We want to keep moving through the content, but with Fortinet and cloud integration, really, where is Fortinet distinguishing itself?
So when it comes to cloud integration, I mean, private or public cloud, you know, Fortinet, the FortiOS, what runs on the physical or the virtual appliance, is the same sort of cost of board. So we're heavily invested in cloud. I mean, from a private cloud, we support all the private cloud vendors, VMware, Microsoft, and so forth. And from the public cloud, we're integrated into all the public cloud vendors, Google, Azure, and AWS. And we have full SaaS-based applications that scale out, like web as a service and so forth, right? So we are heavily invested in the cloud. And the other great thing is that we have full API integration. So we ingest tags from the cloud into our SD-WAN solution. So you can reference cloud tags as you're building out policies, which makes it easier for customers as they build out their architecture, right? Because now they don't have to deal with two different instances as they start designing their infrastructure. We ingest everything from the private or public cloud, we reference it, and it makes it more secure and it makes it more flexible when it comes to deploying out the solutions and managing them.
Okay, great. And then, so we'll move to Sean. So Sean, you know, with Silver Peak, again, how are you helping your customers, you know, support sort of their hybrid cloud, public-private, you know, cloud resources and connectivity?
Yeah, so we see that it's important for the flexibility for our customers. We continually add additional automations into cloud providers, but as of today, high flexibility working with AWS, Google, Oracle, Azure, including being able to support purchase and setup of the application within those within those footprints. It's really around driving the application performance, and it was mentioned earlier in a different way, but we provide a certain level of quality of service just based on how we set up the applications within those cloud environments and back to the traditional networks. And so giving the customers a flexibility, I would say probably just driving the automation required to have these setups done is the biggest benefit that we provide for the customers.
Okay. And Hadi, again, when you look at cloud integration, again, you touched on it a little bit already, but really, where is VeloCloud sort of distinguishing itself?
So we call ourselves Switzerland of cloud, right? So we definitely have that multi-cloud approach to make sure that the customers have reliable connectivity to all those cloud applications. Whereas that application hosted in an IaaS environment or it's a SaaS application, we have a huge footprint of cloud gateways distributed globally in more than 100 internet exchange POPs across the globe, that we literally send, if the user wants to access to any of those Office 365, Azure, AWS, GCP workloads, we intelligently identify the application and send that traffic directly to the cloud gateway. And that cloud gateway literally sit in next, in a same cross connect zone with all those GCP, AWS, Azure, and Alibaba Cloud, peering routers. We do have peering relationship with Azure, GCP, AWS. So the customer's traffic will be delivered literally. I'm a network guy. I would say the traffic will be delivered one hop away to the next router, which is the AWS Transit Gateway or Azure Gateway. And then we also have all those type of peering relationship with CASB providers and the cloud security gateways like Zscaler. Palo Alto is one of them, Fortinet. These are the partners we have that, again, we intelligently identify the application based on the business policy. You can deliver all those applications to all these CASB providers from the edge directly without backhauling the traffic all the way to the data center. At the same time, giving the same level of security, same level of reliability that a consumer expects in terms of application performance and experience.
Okay, great. And then Jennifer, regarding the Cisco solutions, again, how are you integrating with the cloud? How are you helping? I know you spoke a little bit about it already, but just specifically around cloud integrations.
Sure. Our goal is to make it easy. Whatever cloud company wants to use, they should be able to very easily spin up a connection to that cloud, be able to secure their data as it traverses the network, secure their applications, and extend their fabric of their network directly to that cloud. And we accomplish that through the use of what we call Cloud On-Ramp, which is essentially a set of virtual devices that sit at co-locations that serve as that consolidation point and that security point to consolidate all the distributed branch traffic into these colos and connect directly into these public clouds. And what that allows our customers to do is really, again, treat their entire network end-to-end as one big security policy, one big programmable network that they can shape to what their business needs are at the time, and that they can dynamically change which applications that they want to consume from a SaaS perspective, and be able to deliver those applications with application, SLA policies wrapped around them. So like I said, it's all about utilizing some of Cisco's legacy routing capabilities around TCP optimization and packet deduplication that we do really well, and also leverage that in this SD-WAN environment where, because we've separated that data plane from the control plane, we can scale, we can connect to many unlimited cloud providers and ensure that application experience that they expect.
Okay, awesome. So Ryan, from a CloudGenix perspective, again, you have cloud in the name, so I'm going to say hopefully this one is teed up for you. But yeah, so how are you helping customers with their integration with the cloud in your solutions?
So Jen just nailed this. I feel like we're ham and egg right now. So well said. Separation of just religious separation of church and state between our control plane and the customer's data plane is a key element here, right? So you're not backhauling through these orchestration points that in our solution are not required, right? So it gives you this unique ability to be very agile at the branch on a per application basis. So our application fabric identifies each application, because some apps don't need to be backhauled and some apps do. And one thing that I will contrast respectfully, of course, with what Jen said is that from our perspective, we're not very router centric, right? We're very application centric. So we're built on sessions and flows. So we think about the behavior of the application, which is going to be different for every application that's out there. So for us, the answer in a very abbreviated way, KJ, I could go for hours on this, in a very abbreviated way, is that we recognize the type of application at the branch. We recognize exactly how that application is behaving, not how it should be behaving, but how it is behaving in real time. And then we route it accordingly to ensure best path performance, and to Jen's point, adhere to application level SLAs, right? Everything she said, I agree with. The approach is a little bit different just from a router versus session perspective, but I think generally the concept is the same.
Okay, great. And thanks for not going on for hours. Appreciate that. But again, it's a great time to sort of discuss, so CDW, these are the partners that we really feel confident in. And again, if you, as we go through this, whether it's Hadi or Ryan or Jason, Sean, Jennifer, we want to help you push these initiatives forward. We want to help get the right people in front of you. So, feel free to reach out to your account executives, your account managers. We're happy to help those conversations happen. I'm going to skip a couple of questions because I think we're a little time locked here, but when we look at what your company, what your solution is doing to help your customers, how is your solution helping future-proof this? As this is, we're sort of reinventing what the WAN looks like, but how are we helping our customers make sure that they're not getting a different type of lock-in like MPLS currently is for a lot of people? So we'll start with Ryan. If you just want to kind of continue along, like what is CloudGenix doing to future-proof for their customers?
Yeah, so we're in a great spot here, and the reason is we were 3 years ahead of this market, right? So when I joined the company, this was a lot more education. I think SD-WAN at the time was being defined as what I would call now, and I think many on this call would agree with, as hybrid WAN. More bandwidth, right? More failover. That's hybrid WAN. SD-WAN, software-defined networking, is a different approach. So for us, we've been way out in front of this. In the guts of our product, we are session and flow-based, which we love, and we think will continue to widen the gap. Secondly, we're built on a completely open API architecture. So to Jen's point earlier, again, she referred to we've been defining something. It wasn't called SASE. In our world, we called it the cloud delivered branch. Jen, I'm not sure what you guys were calling it. I'm sure you have a term. We called it the cloud delivered branch, and it was a model for service creation where CloudGenix was an inexpensive piece of software residing on an x86 CPE at the branch. with native API integrations into next generation best of breed technologies across the 5 key areas of the WAN, right? UCaaS, security, multi-cloud, all these things we've been talking about. And we were delivering and understanding those applications in real time on a two-way street via an API call, right? So for us, future-proofing means having that automation already baked in our architecture, in the guts of what we're doing. It's not a roadmap thing. So if any SaaS provider, any multi-cloud provider, any security provider, including Zscaler and Netscope and some of the other CDW partners that are out there that we support, we have native APIs into those apps. So if they make a change, our customers recognize those changes instantaneously, and there's a two-way street between those applications. So for us, automation is the answer to future-proofing.
Okay, great. And then, so Hadi, same question. How are you helping future-proof your customers' investments?
So a good testimony to, to prove that we are at future-proofing our solution is our position in Gartner chart in SD-WAN. So we're a leader in terms of visionary, being a visionary, and also delivering that vision. Same thing. Our vision at VMware is one thing: any application, any device, any cloud, be able to connect all these environments together. And SD-WAN is delivery arm to provide that any app, any device, any cloud vision. So we're looking into not only connecting these type of different multi-cloud environments, we also take a look at the client side. That's what we call client to cloud to container as part of our Velo Cloud Vision, because it's important to see what's really happening on the client side to observe all that behavior. Acquiring Niansa was one of the reasons that we want to have a look on the client side to check the application of behavior, the users, and based on that, adaptively change the behavior and policies of SD-WAN. And on the other side, now we're looking into how we can protect those users and data by, again, integrating this solution with Carbon Black and Workspace ONE to not only protect data, but protect the users, the whole context. Therefore, at the end, it really about is getting, having a future-proof solution that makes our customer always at the state of be prepared, be ready, because you'll never know what would happen in next month. Again, this COVID situation gave us a good lessons learned that we always need to be prepared. And the solution that you'll choose for your wide area network, which is again a very key area for your digital transformation. Therefore, you need to make sure it's future-proof and it gives you all the flexibility you need for that business growth.
Yeah, that's a good point around sort of what that new normal is going to look like, and yeah, and I guess that's again why I think that future-proofing, if it's a feature or at least it's part of the strategy is really key. So no, that's good. And then so Sean with Silver Peak. So how is Silver Peak helping your customers continue to get value out of the investment and future-proof these changes that may be coming?
I think it comes down to the core of Silver Peak's product strategy, and it's really around delivering best of breed around SD-WAN with ultimate flexibility. So you'll see that a lot of the additions that we continually make in the product are around automation into whether it be the cloud or into cloud security partners, but it also giving ultimate flexibility in how the product is utilized, whether it's in the cloud, whether it's on premise. Virtually or on an appliance. And so all of these aspects of just the general core product development are around that future proofing, so customers are not locked into either a piece of hardware or into an environment or into a cloud architecture that won't change. I think the other aspect of it is that we've continued to evolve products like the WAN optimization, which there's been a few questions on, and making it consumable within the product, and again allowing that flexibility for customers that may require that moving forward. I think that the industry is going to evolve further with more partnerships, and then I think the broader your ecosystem of support is, that's really where the future proofing comes from. Providing a one fit solution or trying to lock in too many components for the customer, I think that's ultimately where the future proofing doesn't hold moving forward.
Gotcha. So Jason, so with Fortinet again, how are you helping your customers protect their investments? An investment today they want to make sure they're getting value out of it in the future. So how is Fortinet doing that?
Well, I mean, when it comes to Fortinet and the SD-WAN and our strategy, we're looking all the way from the end user all the way to the cloud, right? So we have our security appliance, we have our whole stack of solutions that communicate with each other and share threat intelligence. But we're also, we purpose-built SD-WAN ASICs to optimize and provide faster performance for our edge devices, right? At the end of the day, we control what is going to happen in terms of performance, in terms of how open our solution is, right? We're not purchasing ASICs or anything from other vendors, and because of that, we're able to write and design our solutions based on the customers and the demand of what's coming out of SD-WAN, right? May it be integration of APIs, open connectivity, fabric connectors. Just realistically, at the end of the day, Fortinet has heavily invested, and it is our operating system. It's not a second platform. It's not something else. It is running baked into our operating system. So it gets SD-WAN, it gets developed the same alongside our FortiOS because it's part of the operating system itself. So, with something like that, that with the skin in the game and what we're looking to do, and we're building our own SD-WAN basic ASICs, and that whole development strategy is there to help our customers drive their strategy going forward, because bandwidth is just going to get it's going to get less expensive, right? And at the end of the day, when bandwidth is less expensive, you just need boxes that can handle more bandwidth, right? So, being able to control that on our end and allow us to control, we're able to control that on our end. It allows us to really develop solutions around it and drive that business forward and drive that strategy forward for our customers.
Yeah, and you bring up some interesting points there. And again, I think we talked a little bit about it, the idea of people working from home, consuming from home, and that completely changing your WAN traffic flow. I mean, it's completely altered where people are entering your networks. And so you're right, like having that flexibility and being able to take advantage of services you've already deployed. I completely agree with you. And as we go forward, so anyways, I'm going to have Jen have sort of the final answer to this conversation around future-proof, and then we're just going to go down the list and have you each have a couple of minutes to talk specifically about your technology and focus in on maybe some differentiating features that we didn't talk about. So Jen, regarding future-proofing, what is Cisco doing to help future-proof those investments?
Sure, KJ. Listen, the guys covered a lot of the automation and programmability and openness of the platform, open APIs. All that stuff is necessary, and it's got to be table stakes for any SD-WAN solution that a company selects. And in addition to that, Cisco is where we put our might and our investment, our customers benefit. So Cisco's made a huge investment in SD-WAN across a number of our platforms between Meraki and Viptela. And as we continue to invest and as we continue to focus on what our customers need to achieve from a business outcome standpoint, digital transformation, cost saving, transport independence, the ability to build agility into the heart of their IT organization so they can respond well to these unexpected turn of events in the world that force us to do business in a completely different way. Those are the things that we're thinking about. And so, customers are going to continue to benefit from Cisco's investment in this space. And, really, that's what it's all about in terms of looking into the future, anticipating what the next turn of the market's going to look like. And then we've developed to that. So we're looking at SD-WAN. We've kind of gone past that in terms of the completeness of vision into the security and cloud security and now SASE integration. And then this multi-domain element of it, connecting your network end to end for that single policy, control point for increased visibility into the application, no matter where it is in the network. Like, these are the things that we're focusing on now because that's where we're going to next in this whole SD-WAN endeavor.
Okay, then so we'll just go ahead and stay with you, Jennifer. Can you cover off, just open forum? You got 2 minutes. How are you providing value to your customers? Whatever you want to focus on.
Yeah. So, like I said, huge investment. Cisco is going to get this right. We're getting it right, and there is no future of SD-WAN without Cisco being a part of it. So as we anticipate more consolidation of vendors out there in this space, we're going to continue to make acquisitions. We're going to continue to make huge investments in engineering and development, and of course, focus on integration with third-party partners, whether they are security partners, especially our cloud partners out there, SaaS application and IaaS solutions. So, that's our future. And we see the network, being Cisco, we see the network as that unified fabric, that stitching together of your business, of your employees' experience, of your customers' experience. And, I think that that's what it's really all about is ensuring that businesses continue to survive and thrive in today's environment and that you can stay competitive. And that's really, when I talk with potential customers, we really try to focus on what's your business need to be in the next 2 years? How does digital transformation play into your overall business plan? How can you further, leverage and exploit the value of the public cloud and public cloud security solutions to advance your business and to be more competitive? And that's really what it's all about to us, are those business outcomes.
Perfect. Appreciate that. And then, so Sean, regarding Silver Peak, you have an open forum. If I hold up my hand, it means hopefully please stop, but please speak to our customers.
Yeah, I'll keep it under 60 seconds here. So I think to echo, a couple of those comments, it's definitely got to be customer first and around, how the business is going to evolve. Silver Peak, is recognized by Gartner as a Magic Quadrant leader in the space. We're heavily invested in the SD-WAN capabilities and development of that space. I think, we have to understand that customers are changing. Sometimes it happens faster than expected. I think COVID was a good example of that. Being able to move with our customers to quickly adapt to their requirements. We had a customer in the US, Trial Card. They moved 400 calling agents to home within 2 weeks and deployed SD-WAN across them. So being able to adjust to those requirements versus having everybody sitting in branches or in call centers, and understanding that their needs for applications and application performance are also going to change. I think, that combined with working with market leaders across other technologies is really where Silver Peak will continue to differentiate and bring value for our customers.
Perfect, thank you. So Ryan, with Palo Alto and CloudGenix.
Yep, so radical simplicity. So business outcomes are where we're going, right? Business outcomes are where we've always been. Customers need to have a great experience. For us, that means how quickly and effectively can you create the environment at the WAN edge that allows for the customer's application experience to be the best that it can be, that they can adhere. If I'm in the network team, that I can adhere to the SLAs I'm providing, right? When my CEO goes home to work from home and he picks up his phone, it works, right? Because he doesn't care why it doesn't work. He just needs it to work, or she just needs it to work. So when we think about those things, it's radical simplicity, ease of use, and big value to the customer that delivers business outcomes. I'll close with this. Don't take my word for it. Go listen to our customers. So Gartner Peer Insights, publicly available page, CloudGenix won the Gartner Customer Choice Award for last year. So our customers spoke loud and clear. They love our product. They recommend our product to their friends at a rate of 98%. We could not be any more proud of that. It's very humbling, very proud. And thank you guys for including us. And thank you to all the panelists. A lot of great minds on this panel today, and I had fun. So thank you guys for letting me participate.
Thanks, Ryan. So Hadi, around VMware and VeloCloud, your floor.
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, it's all around, again, consistency, operation, around infrastructure. If you can extend the infrastructure from cloud to the edge to the data center and provide the same level of consistency, both from infrastructure and operation, and again, the choice of flexibility for the customer, that they can pick and choose the the security solution that they want at the edge. If they want to run a VNF function inside the edge device, we are completely capable of doing that. We support Palo Alto virtual firewalls, Fortinet virtual firewalls, a checkpoint, so completely flexibility on that. If the customer wants to send in a specific traffic to a CASB provider, again, they have the choice of doing that. It's all about the choice. Our huge presence in the cloud. We talked about the SASE a lot in this, in this talk, but one of the most important factors about the SASE is that it's highly relied on a cloud footprint and presence. If you're not present or having an infrastructure and a fabric present in the cloud, you cannot deliver that SASE vision. And VMware is well positioned to deliver that because, as I said, a huge footprint of a cloud gateways that we have that they can horizontally scale in terms of size, in terms of supporting any type of spikes in traffic. And at the end, yeah, just reach out to, the last comment to the customer, just reach out to CDW. They're all capable, they're all certified in VMware VeloCloud solution to provide you the best solution, the best options to move forward with your digital transformation.
Hadi. So Jason, with Fortinet, you get to close out the discussion here, so the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, and no, thanks once again, and thanks everybody for joining. And when we're all on here, and the panelists are great. We're all saying the same thing, like the application integrity, making sure that you as the customer has the best solution that's going to help you to scale. When Fortinet looks at this, we're talking about not just SD-WAN, but making sure that your infrastructure is secured right across the platform. Because at the end of the day, as your infrastructure goes through the digital transformation, as you have these remote sites, as you scale from a hybrid cloud to a full cloud solution, you need to still be able to secure from the user all the way to wherever that application goes, because without that end-to-end security layered on top of the SD-WAN, it just introduces a whole bunch of different complexities, which is not required in these type of infrastructures. I mean, we're all working at home right now. We all have the potential without a secure environment to get a compromise and share that threat throughout the rest of the network, throughout the cloud, throughout the head office, wherever your VPN is terminating. So without the full visibility, without the ability to really zero in and have visibility in threats and the traffic flows and the application performance, it kind of puts it in a weird situation because your environment's so sprawled out, but you don't have a control mechanism. So when it comes to Fortinet, the way we look at it is we have the SD-WAN. It's a very mature product. It's built into our FortiOS. There's no cost for it. But at the end of the day, we look at it and we say, how can we secure not only the SD-WAN portion, but all the way down to the user, and while still providing that end user experience. And I would say, like, it's very important when making decisions to go through proof of concepts. It's very important to take the time as a customer to go through those decisions. And the CDW team has the ability to run, Fortinet has a free assessment you could run. And the team's more than versed alongside. We could work with them to help out with proof of concepts. But those are very important things to consider when making a decision like SD-WAN.
No, that's perfect. Thanks for closing that out. Again, I very much appreciate everybody's engagement on this. I noticed that the bulk of the people that joined the session today stayed all the way through the end. So, we very much appreciate your time as customers. We appreciate getting, I think the people that have come together on this call, I think they brought a lot of good value here. There's a lot of good discussions. We will reach out to everybody who signed up for the webinar today with ways that you can engage CDW and the partners on the call here. It was one of the questions we wanted to cover was how do we get everybody connected together. But what we'll do is we'll gather that information. We'll send out an email with that so that kind of what the next steps are. But but I hope you heard today that SD-WAN is alive and real. CDW is willing to engage. We've got great partners, VMware, Palo Alto, Fortinet, Silver Peak, and Cisco. We are very much looking forward to helping you, find the business value educate your business on the strategy going forward, and then helping you achieve the agility and the operational efficiencies and the cost savings that we've discussed here today. So thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks again for everybody that was on the panel here.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, KJ, for having us. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Take care,
Take care.
folks. Have a great day.
Thanks again.